waiting for me. So I'll just say 2 or 3 very quick things. Number one, I'd like to thank the guys who invited me, because now is an opportunity for me to publicly hand over to the younger guys. We did the mesa, we did radios, we did everything. Now it's your turn. So please carry on the task, so we can happily go into the evening and do less demanding things like climbing mountains. But I would like to challenge you, especially the intellectuals, for you to understand how effective and powerful these tools are. I just want to do a quick sample. Who do you think has been the most effective communicator? Let me deal with my panel here. Who do you think has been the most effective communicator on digital platforms in Uganda? Talk of who? On. Who? The fact that you all look, you don't know. I'm going to tell you who it is, and I want you to go and study the effect of this person. In my view, in my very humble opinion, one of the most effective and powerful communicators on the digital platforms is a young lady called Bad Black. You know, somebody cheated her of her money. Do you remember that? Yes. And she was paid immediately. Yes. So, go and study how she does it, and you will understand what can be done. And it is actually an indictment on all of you good people with degrees, some of you 3, some 5, and so on, that somebody as humble as her has done a much better job, because she did 2 things. She had a very effective campaign against COVID, and she carried out a very effective campaign to bring the people who had cheated her of her money to pay her. And I don't want to go into what she did. But I will also remind you, especially my guys here, there was a politician who took services from an innocent young girl and had refused to pay. It took these people to say, was she Nancy? Yes. Martha. There was a campaign called Pay Martha. And the rich and powerful, okay, they humiliated her in the process, but they paid her. Before these times, it would have been much worse. So, do not lose hope. So just, I will say things that people like Godwin, people like Agatha, and many others who have picked up different places. One of the greatest platforms now for what I'm going to tell you is TikTok. And people like Uncle Mo, you dismiss them at your own peril, because what are they doing? One, with these new technologies, they've demonstrated that people can take back agency. The time when media, privately owned or generally controlled media platforms decided what you should know and hear is gone. It's finished. People now can speak for themselves and in real time. If you think that I am telling you a lie, look at the responses each time the president posts something, and you can see the kinds of responses. That stuff would never have happened 30 years ago when I was a young man. Never. Not such responses would have even been allowed in the letters page of any newspaper, leave alone on any talk show. So that is significant, because it is demonstrating to many people that with a phone and access to the internet, you have agency. So that's number one. Number two, it is safe. You don't need to go to the streets to be tear gassed and beaten to say what you wanted to say. You just sit in the safety of or you lie in the safety of your bed and make a powerful statement and move on. There is a word for it in Ugandan speak. It's called violence. Move on. So there is that element of safety. The third one, for me, is that it is what it's doing. This is what most people miss. Is in any struggle, regardless, the most important thing in civic action is for you to raise the level of social consciousness. How you do it doesn't matter, whether it is through song, comedy, art, or direct political statements. What these digital technologies are doing is they're making it possible for societies to conscientize themselves about their reality. And so, you really have to fear people like Spire, who you would have ignored before simply because he's hiding in a corner in a university, and draws occasional cartoons. Now, before, you see, what was difficult was for people to read. Now people see, people hear, and they form opinions. And you may think that what will happen in 10, 15 years' time from now happened then. The truth is the seeds were sown now. So, please, take heart. What digital technologies have done for you is they've broken down control. They've given you back your agency. They've created for you the opportunity to organize. So stop agonizing.
So how do we ensure, how do we discourage fake news? That's one, but also, how do we discourage fake news, considering that the line of defense for the people that we challenge is to say that what you're bringing onto social media has not been verified, and therefore is fake news and misinformation?
It's not our responsibility. Those, well, I don't even know saying we, the people are here. It's not their responsibility to figure out whether or not it's fake news. By the way, I don't know if any of you is old enough to remember, there used to be something in the late 70s and 80s called Radio Katwe. It has never killed this country, we are still here. So we've been a country of rumors for a very long time. Fake news is just one form, so don't worry about it. The enduring ability of the public to figure out what is fake news and what is not is there. And so, yes, occasionally there will be a mistake and people will be caught off guard. Yes, it doesn't reduce the effect of what they have done. So that for me, so the whole fake news argument should not cloud the important task that those who are involved in using technologies as activism and conscientizing others should be stopped. No. In fact, it can very easily become a tool to be used against freedom of expression. So let's not put the obligation on the user that fake news. No. Fake news, it will solve itself, don't worry. So that one I'll put aside, because I told all people I owe money that I'm going to Mount Kilimanjaro and therefore I should pay them before I leave. So one of them is actually camped outside. So that's the reason why. Very quickly, with your kind acceptance, at exactly midday I will leave, regardless of what's happening, because my mode of transport will be ready to take me to begin the trek. I think, I'm just going to say to you from my experience that I think you guys worry about the wrong things. And you spend so much time discussing legislation, who did what, how will the law be used, privacy. The best way to find out is do it. So we should be spending more time discussing how to organize in the age of new technology. And I'm really glad that you have at least two people I know. I don't know Mulu very well, so I don't want to say very much, but I know Toko and I know Setongo. Regardless of all these laws, they've organized the use of technology. And I remember saying it, and I had all sorts of noise in response. And I said, it's incredible that in the age where knowledge is so prevalent, people are so ignorant. I say there is one thing that Spire did with his portals. He showed the rest of the public a safe way in which, a safe and very cheap way in which to participate in civic action. And people laughed thinking that it was meaningless. So I'm going to tell you three stories that for me capture the value of technology. In 2000, when we were doing the Capital Gun, every public individual dismissed us as just talkers on radio. By the election of 2005, they were accused outside every radio station with people trying to get on in order to get their voices heard. By then, it was 5 years too late for anybody who had wanted to make a name or get their messages out. So first of all, they start by dismissing you. And then they realize that actually this is much bigger than they think. So one of the most interesting things I had, and this is for Toko, you may want to learn this. I was attending a workshop like this, and a girl who had done research on PDM cash. We were talking about coffee, but she came to talk about PDM cash. She said, men are lining up to receive PDM cash so they can go and buy a technophone. Why? Because they want to go on TikTok. Why are they on TikTok? So, the thing that is important, I told you 3 stories, so I'm going to give you the other one. The next one was that everybody, or the accepted conventional wisdom, is that it is the guns and the big political parties that liberated South Africa from apartheid. No, it is not. The people who actually drove apartheid into the ground were the students. But everybody dismissed them as a weak, inconsequential force. One of the things that helped the students was the power of music in mobilizing them and growing their social consciousness. Third one is the story of a country that used to exist but doesn't exist anymore. It's a country called Czechoslovakia. Hans, if you know Czechoslovakia, then I'll know how old you are. Yeah. So my age mates, yeah. Now, Czechoslovakia was under the rule of a dictatorial system, but the way they fought back was through theater and pantomime. And everybody dismissed them. Well, they were able to achieve